mouse today? Come over here for it. Do you want that? Are you thinking about it? Is the darker greens better? Darker greens.
Darker greens.
They do have preferences on what they like to eat, just like you and I do. A lot of times, omnivorous animals especially will tend to sometimes prefer protein, insects, or whole prey items instead as well, because those are typically a little bit more tasty.
What do you think? Easier?
There we go. So something that I like to compare these guys to are our glass lizards. The reason that I like to compare them to the glass lizards is their head shape. If you look at the shape of these guys' heads and the shape of the glass lizards' heads, they are quite similar. And the reason being is that certain animals, depending on where they're from, will have certain adaptations that make life easier for them. And for these guys, having a shovel-shaped head makes it easier. They are burrowers, and so it's advantageous for them to have kind of that narrow, tapered head to help them burrow.
A couple things that you'll see us doing during training with our reptiles and mammals as well when we're target training is if we offer the target and they don't look interested, then we may take it away, which is called a limited hold. So we will offer it for a limited amount of time, take it away if they don't go for it, and then we might offer something that's easier, which might mean closer, to see if they're motivated to do something that's a bit easier.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I use a verbal bridge when I'm training reptiles, but it's not something that they necessarily need or are paying attention to. But for me, it's just a habit that I do because we also train mammals. It won't hurt if you use it with reptiles as well.
So something that you can compare these guys with the glass lizards to is that skinks are lizards, glass lizards are lizards. It may be a little bit harder to tell on the glass lizards, but something that does make them lizards is the fact that they do have eyelids. Snakes don't have eyelids, they have eye caps. These guys do have external ear holes. Snakes have internal ears. And they do have not necessarily a definition of lizards, but they do have the ability to drop their tail. And you can see that these guys do have tiny little legs. Out in the wild, since they are burrowers, they do kind of rely on their head mostly to help them burrow. And they do theorize that here within the next, I don't know, few thousands, maybe millions years, they're pretty much on their way to losing their limbs because they're not very effective. Hi, do you want this anymore? He's like, no. And sometimes when we're training, motivation can shift. So right now he may be thinking, well, this is maybe more interesting than that gross salad that you're giving me. So I think I may just hang out over here now.
And he also doesn't get a lot of opportunity to explore outside of this enclosure, so that would make sense. That's pretty motivating for him. Does anybody have any? What's that?
I said he's looking for bugs.
Yeah,
probably.
Anybody have any questions so far?
How would you be able to tell if he was intimidated by all of this right now? Is there a side
Yeah, it does kind of look like he's kind of backwards, but you don't even recognize that.
No, I wouldn't say that he recognizes that as his spot. He may realize that that is a covered space where he might feel more safe. I also don't know if that goes up. It actually does go in.
He's like
here.
a ferret.
Does it? Yeah, it goes up again. So I think he realized that that's probably some kind of hide that he can utilize though. So reptiles do have very different personalities. Meatloaf is one of the more outgoing kiddos that we have, I would say, where he doesn't get timid too easily. How we would know with these guys is they would start flashing their tongue a lot. Their tongue being bright blue is a way to warn predators that, hey, I may be dangerous, I may be poisonous, so don't eat me. And so that would be something that I would see, like if he were to stop and just start flashing his tongue over and over, that would maybe be like, maybe I'm distressed kind of a thing for him.
Other questions?
So what are some good colors that he's going to actually be attracted to with the training?
So I'm not entirely sure if it's really well studied in what colors reptiles can see. I would say that they're probably more attracted to movement than anything else, since they are like predator animals as well.
Most of the target sticks you see around the zoo are red, so my best guess would be that that's a color that like the wide variety of animals can see. So like for example, we've started doing some target and station training with our ducks, and we did some research and learned that some of the colors that they can see really well are like red and blue and green. So our red target stick works really well for that. And for any of our reptiles that do know how to target or that we're working on target training with, they tend to be able to see the red target sticks. It seems like a tool that works pretty well color-wise.
Maybe traveling back home.
Yeah, he may be saying that he has had enough interaction for today.